sometimes you may feel like, yo, it has to be this next level of passion. And even me, I think in my last relationship and just relationships in general, I had to realize that I was maybe addicted to passion. Like it's maybe that feeling of like that fire, that love, that spark, you know what I'm saying, I was addicted to when it's more so like the peace and stability that I actually probably need in life.
This is Sad Boy Radio.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Sad Boy Radio. I'm your host, Matt, and today, man, we got a very special guest. We're back out here in LA. He's formerly signed to DJ Mustard. He recently worked with Femdot and B.O.B. B.O.B. was a little bit ago, but recently Femdot. And shit, Ebro picked you as the song of the week, bro. Like, those are some heavy accomplishments for real. Go ahead and introduce yourself, bro.
My name is Ashoka, and I'm an artist, rapper, overall, authentic, just human being from Rockland County, New York.
Hey, you picked your name before. Well, your name is your name.
Yeah, I didn't pick my name at all.
But the name was before the show.
Way before the show, you know what I'm saying? This is my mother gave me this name, you know what I'm saying? Ashoka. It's the name of an ancient Indian king. You know what I'm saying? It also means without sorrow. But it's just the name of an ancient Indian king that did, a lot of great things for his people, highly revered. Very much so, peace, not war. But yeah, that's where the name comes from. So it was just funny, like the whole Star Wars shit is just like, it's just kind of funny now, but yeah.
Do you feel like that shit's helped out low key? Cause it gives like another reason to talk about it type shit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say it's helped. I'm not gonna say it's hurt me. It's just something I laugh at for the most part. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I remember I had posted some video and it was just in the comments, it was so much like Star Wars jokes or like someone said, where's the lightsaber? And I just was like, fuck it, let me just play into this. And I was just like, yo, my bad, y'all, I left the lightsaber in the trunk. You know what I mean? I'm like, yo, I'm gonna just play with y'all.
Now you gotta make a Star Wars video, bro.
I got to, right? I got a bar that like kind of speaks to it. Like the whole joke, the whole Star Wars thing. I got a bar on that on some song for my next album.
When can we expect the album, bro?
This year, I would say.
Before we get into it, bro.
So
back in 2017, you signed a deal with DJ Mustard. That's a huge part of your history, right? That's a significant accomplishment, especially at that time. How did that all come together?
It was just so like, it was like a flash. It just happened, you know what I'm saying? And it was really organic. It wasn't like I knew someone or anything. To be quite honest with you, like I pretty much saw the story of the day and like how it happened. Like, at the time I was living in New York. Well, I've been living in New York for a minute, but I was living in Brooklyn at the time. I had just graduated college not too long before that. And I was just putting out music, working on it. I was just trying to figure it out. I'm like, yo, I'm not going back to school. I'm just going to grind this music shit out and really make this work and figure it out. And, I was living in a 1-bedroom apartment in Brooklyn with my dog Q. He was engineering. I was rapping. Like, we were just making music. You know what I'm saying? We were just really grinding it out on some real, grind times type shit. And at the time, I was working Grubhub. I was just delivering food. Like, I was just, trying to make enough money to stay afloat and have all of my time dedicated to music. And it was one of those days. It was just like, it was funny because it was kind of a shitty day. I remember just like delivering food, coming back to the crib. I was like, fuck, man, let me go record some shit. Sat on a laptop. I just remember sitting on at my computer at my desk. I had just dropped a song called No Stress not too long ago. And I remember just looking at it, just looking at the numbers, looking how shit's going up. And I remember just taking it all in, just looking at the blogs, talking about the music. And then I just looked at my phone and saw a DM from him saying, yo, and I was just like, what the fuck, like, it's not his real page. And I looked at it, it's his real page. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then like, he was like, yo, I fucks with the music. Like, let's chop it up. Hopped on the phone. He pulled up to New York. We got in the studio, chopped it up, went out to the club. It was all good energy. And then from there, we're like, all right, yo, let's work it out. You know what I'm saying? Let's try to make something work. We recorded a bunch of songs. Linked a bunch of times. I was coming out to LA. He was in New York. Different shit like that, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, it was a great experience. I learned a lot in that experience. I grew a lot as an artist during that time. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I'm definitely grateful for, that whole situation and, what I experienced during that time.
In what way specifically do you feel like it helped you develop?
The time and space to focus on nothing but my artistry. They allowed me that. They, put me with different A&Rs. I remember this one A&R, like before this, I was writing everything. Like it wasn't until that time where I started just going onto the mic and just freestyling and doing melodies and mumbles. And they kind of forced me to do that in a way that it's funny because I remember the first time they told me, yo, I bet put up this beat. And that was a nerve wracking day because Cardo was in the studio that day. Cardo pulled up. It's my first time meeting Cardo. And they're like, yo, I go in the booth and you know what I mean? Just go. And I was like, all right, but I didn't write. I was like, yo, just go. And I was like, shit, yo, they tell you to go, you gotta go, especially in those high pressure situations. And I remember when I felt so proud because I got out of the booth, and Cardo was like, yo, I didn't know who you was before you got in that booth, but I damn sure know who you are now. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's funny. But yeah, I definitely got a lot of time to really grow and work on my craft.
When you start hanging around a certain caliber of artists, you're put in the situations where, okay, let me go show and prove. And it just helps you develop because now you're on the spot. Now you're really in that moment where you have to show out and prove it. Otherwise, like, shit, you don't know what somebody's gonna say, you know? What was it that had you, move away from that situation? What caused the departure?
I think that's another thing I learned and got the time to learn and gain from that experience. Just like the importance of timing. Timing is everything, timing, business, all that kind of stuff. And some things just don't work out, not because anyone's wrong in the situation, not because anyone did anything wrong in the situation, but just, the timing of things just don't align, you know what I mean? And that's all it was.
God's timing is everything, bro.
For sure. Yeah. Shout out to them boys though.
Do you feel like there was something you needed from the label that you weren't getting?
To be honest, I'm not going to get too deep and shit on the label.
No, you're
like
good.
that. Like it's just like shout out to them, like shout out to them boys. But nah, I wouldn't say that.
So what about at Genius now, man? You got the distribution deal with them.
Man, Genius is dope, man. Shout out, Rob Mark, man. Of course, shout out to Kayvon. It's just it's important to have people that really believe in you and really believe in art first still. You know what I'm saying? And music and want to hear quality. I mean, Genius is what we all know. Genius, first and foremost, it was rap genius before it was Genius, right? And what is it based on? Lyrics. It's based on storytelling. It's based on content, substance. You know what I mean? So, what other place to be for the type of music that I make than Genius?
K-Wan's that dude. How did that
Shout out
even
that
come
boy.
together? For real?
Yeah, yo, and I'm real big on just real relationships, like real organic relationships with real people, genuine people. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I really appreciate the way that I locked in with Kayvon, because how I locked in with Kayvon was just so really I put out my first song ever. Like my first song ever. You know what I'm saying? Still super raw. The voice is damn near cracking on the mic a little, even though I was grown. But you know what I mean? You still got to develop your rap voice. But I put out my first song. I worked hard on it. I worked for about a year and a half, just recording every single day before I put out my first song. One of my boys sent it to one of his boys who just so happened to work with Kayvon. At his company called CAA. He was like an assistant or intern or something like that at the time. He heard it and he was like, yo, this is dope. And he was writing at a music blog at the time, Good Music All Day. Shout out to Good Music All Day. And this is still in that blog era kind of vibe, time, towards the end of it, but still, where it mattered, you know what I'm saying? So he just reached out to me and he was just like, yo, bro, my name's Kayvon and yo, homie sent me this song and I fucks with it. I really fucks with it. I fucks with your music. I would love to just, share it on my blog, do a post about it. At that time, you know what I'm saying? I've never been posted on the blog. I was like, oh shit, we out of here. I'm about to first blog post. This is lit. I'm hype as fuck, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, he posted the song. And it was just a dope experience, you know what I mean? That was my first time being recognized on a publication like that. And from there, it was really just, more conversations. I was putting out my second song. He's like, yo, let's talk. Let's hop on the phone. We hopping on the phone. Now, every other 2 weeks, we just chopping it up, and he's like, yo, who's managing you? I'm like, yo, nobody. I'm just figuring this shit out. And it's it's not like he was like, all right, let me manage you. It's just all right, let's build. Let's keep talking. And it began yo, we hopping on the phone. He's helping me plan shit out. So all right, now we really locked in, you know what I mean? Really organically. And so I say all that to say, me and Kayvon have been locked in since my first song, essentially. And it just all happened organically. I didn't ask him for anything. He didn't ask me for anything. It just it just made sense and it just happened, you know what I mean? So shout out to him, and I appreciate, because it's hard to find a manager that really cares about you and is there for you, not just for the money or for X, Y, and Z. Someone that's there just solely because they believe in you. So I'm very appreciative that I was able to find that early on.
I think just finding a team, right? Finding, like you said, finding a person that's willing to help you out and help you out off the love, because they believe in what you do. I mean, shit, that's why we got Darian, right? Darian believes in the product. Darian believes in what we do.
Shout out to Darian, man.
Shit. Traveled halfway across the country.
Yeah, that's real shit right there. You know what I mean?
How have you seen the growth elevate after you found that team, after you found Kayvon and he started helping you out?
I think the the most important part about it is perspectives. A lot of times, those different minds, the perspectives add to the vision. As it's all one vision. That's number one. But the different perspectives are very helpful in helping you like clarify what's in your head and kind of get that out to the world. So having Kayvon, having people like Rob Markman that I could hop on a Zoom call and he's like giving me advice like, all right, let's maybe you should do more of that with the content or like choose these kind of songs, like that kind of stuff is very helpful. You know what I'm saying? And of course, like it's so funny because I got some homies on my team that like it's like a running joke. Like sometimes they'll be like, "Yo, what does he do?" And I'll be like, "He doesn't do shit." Like you know what I mean? But like in reality, the people who technically don't do shit, like those conversations, just you being there for me to call and like, yo, chop it up, and like next thing I know, like I have a new idea or the idea I was thinking in my head, like I was able to work through it just by talking to you. Like I have people on the team like that, and that is like they may not have a certain role, but that's actually priceless. You know what I'm saying? To have someone like that that helps you execute your vision in that way, and they might not even know the impact they're having. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, like the team really definitely matters and is important to the overall entire vision.
Because it's having those people that one are gonna push you further than you even thought you could go, but also just having those people you could vent to, having those people that are gonna listen on those days where it's like, damn, I don't even want to do this anymore for real, right? And with that comes that complacency factor. There comes that comfortability factor. You need people to push you out of your comfort zone because when you stay in one place too long, it's like, damn, what am I for real doing?
I got this one homie and like his role is like he doesn't even like he doesn't necessarily contribute certain out. He'll just call me and be like, "Yo, did you do that verse? Yo, did you you go in the studio? Oh, you cooked up?" And I'm like. Like you know what I mean, just like he just on me type shit, and like it's funny because he might be like more like yo stay on your shit than like a person that's actually in the industry or like you know what I mean. He'll call me and be like yo, are you supposed to do that verse for this? Like did you do that or like yo when you show you ain't dropped none? Yo we gotta put a freestyle out like and you know what I mean. He's not even in music, but he just like fucks with me and loves me so much like it's like my brother to the point where it's like. He could talk to me like that, you know what I'm saying? So shit like that is important to have around you too.
He wants to see you succeed.
Hell yeah, man.
That should be annoying a little bit though.
It'd be annoying, but at the same time, you know what I mean? It's important.
Especially, because you get in your own way, right? Get out your way. You say, I'm going to get it tomorrow. That's your favorite line. Tomorrow comes, but it doesn't at the same time.
Sheesh.
How have you seen that complacency affect you in your day-to-day life whenever you've been in that position?
It happens to me still, even after I drop that song. It happens to everybody. Sometimes you get in your own way. Sometimes you have to realize sometimes that like sometimes, we'll be a lot in our heads and thinking it's external factors, thinking we don't have control. But literally all you have to do is show up. Like you can't be too worried about the performance, how you're going to perform or what's going to come out. The only thing you got to be worried about is showing up. You know what I mean? Showing up for yourself. And 9 times out of 10, and a lot of times 10 times out of 10, you'd be surprised that what happens once you just show up and everything just falls into place. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's what it's even that day. Like that day, I didn't feel like recording. I was like in a slump, and I was like, nah, fuck it. Go to that laptop and pull up a beat and start writing. And that's literally what came out of just showing up. You know what I mean? So that's the biggest lesson to be learned from that song. You know what I mean? And what I was trying to kind of push to the message I was trying to push out to people. You feel me?
And shit, even more recently, right? You got out your own way. You got in the gym. You started this fitness journey for real. What was it that pushed you to really start that? Because now you even pushed other people to be doing it, right? You got a whole group chat for this shit.
Yeah, that's dope, man. And yo, shout out to you for joining on me, staying locked in with us. But really, it was just a moment of like recalibration and just tightening up. You know what I mean? Like even creating this last album, it was a lot of I spent like 6 months in Atlanta. I'm going back and forth Atlanta, New York, recording, late night studio. Of course, I'm in Atlanta, so I want some lemon pepper wings. We going to Waffle House after the studio. We doing all type of shit. And it's like, you start grinding so much that you taking care of all these things around you and you forget to take care of yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, then it's like over the summertime, like, finishing the album in LA, trying to keep a job at the same time that I'm finishing this album and not sleeping and, just grinding. And people just looking at me like, oh, you're on grind time. I see you, man. I respect it. Like some people even say like, I don't know how you do it. You know what I'm saying? But they're not even seeing like the actual burnout that I'm experiencing. Like not sleeping is a cool thing. Yeah, I don't sleep. Yeah, sleep is for like, yeah, everyone says in the raps, I'm not gonna sleep until X, Y, and Z. But yo, you could really like drive yourself to the ground not sleeping. You know what I'm saying? You could really that really affects your mental. That's like, you're trying to stay sharp, but you're not realizing you need that to stay sharp. You know what I'm saying? So I say all that to say with so many different factors and the traveling and finishing the album, traveling for shows, eating late night, quick meals, like not no time to cook. Where it's like you look up and 6 months later, a year later, maybe 2 years since I've been working on this album, it's like damn, like I stopped prioritizing myself. I stopped taking care of my mental. I started reading. I started working out as much at least. I'm still working out, but it's certain things where it's like, all right, yo, like I had to hit the pause button, hit a reset button, and figure out what it is. And for me, like personally, I'm a real all or nothing person. Like if even with like coming to LA, it's like yo, I'm just gonna pack all my shit and go to LA and like find a spot and build and start recording, start doing more of the songwriting, all that type of shit. And it's like I'm real all or nothing at times. And even with this, it was like, all right, cool. Like how we gonna hit the reset button? We gonna go 100 days straight. Fuck it, let's do it. Like let's get it.
This shit's so crazy, bro. 100 days straight. But it's once you start that journey that it becomes easier, right? Back in when quarantine happened, I was drinking a little bit more often. I definitely got fat, and I was like, bro, I went on a bike ride with my homie, and my homie's like, damn, bro, you're looking fat. And I felt hurt. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, damn, nah, no way.
I can tell that's really your real homie.
But exactly, you need people like that to tell you, like, yo, like, get on your shit. After that, like, I stopped drinking for like a year because I was like, man, I'll go for a month, then 2 months, and then 3 months, and then just eventually, like, you keep going and you just see the lifestyle change start to affect your mental as well as your physical. You know what I'm saying?
It's funny you say that because that's pretty much how I did this. It was like, at first it started with 41 days, and everyone asked, why 41 days? It just happened to be the day that I made that decision. It was 41 days left in the year. So I was like, okay, I got this many days left to get my mind right. Everyone, it's always like a New Year's resolution. Like, once January 1st comes, I'm going to lock in. I'm like, all right, what if I get myself in mode that once January 1st is here, like, I'm already at that frequency. So like all I gotta do is keep going. So I'm like, all right, I bet 41 days till the year's over. I'm gonna go 41 days straight, working out every day, reading every day, writing a verse every day, at least. You know what I'm saying? And then that grew into like, all right, we got the 41. Why not hit 50? Then it's like, damn, we got the 50. 75 is a nice number. You know what I mean? Then it's like, you're not gonna go to 75 without going to 100. You know what I'm saying? So it was that kind of thing, you know what I'm saying? And it's a blessing that I never even saw something like this happening. I never even been like a trainer type dude. I'm not even a trainer. Obviously, I'm a full-blown rapper. I told that whole group that we in, the first thing I said, you probably saw that message. I was like, yo, first and foremost, I'm a full-blown rapper. I am no trainer. I'm no nutritionist. But this is just something I did. And it's something that, changed my whole energy, my whole frequency, and really pushed me. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to, even with the music, that's always been my MO, to motivate, inspire, spread the dream, spread the vision, help everyone else trace their dreams through me chasing my dream. And, it's just another extension of that. You know what I'm saying? Like me seeing how this journey affected me and me, wanting to bring other people on that journey and motivate them. And it's the most fulfilling thing to see like how it is impacting other people and how everyone's on the journey with me, and even people are like seeing it, like, yo, I'm trying to hop in. Like, it's just super dope, man. So shout out, to everyone that's been rocking with me. Shout out to you, you know what I mean, for joining. You know what I mean? We've been going strong. You know what I mean? I'm about to be on your head to like work out with me. We probably gonna get a good workout tomorrow, you know what I mean? But yeah, we here with it.
Man, and going back to your music, right? Your music, there's a lot of things you touch on, bro, that I think are relatable for a lot of people. And what's that one song where you say that something about a present, but my passion's a gift, but it don't fit in a box?
That's a crazy bar too. I said, the therapist said, practice mindfulness, but how you expect me to live in the present when my dreams can't fit in a box?
I was on the plane listening to that shit because I was writing on the plane and shit. So I heard it, I'm like, damn, like, I think that's a struggle that so many creatives deal with, and not only creatives, but people. Sometimes our dreams are so big, and right, you're supposed to live in the present, but the dream, it's too big to fit in that box. And if you box yourself in, it's never really going to become a reality. So you got to break out of that shit. You know what I'm saying? But going back to your music, right? There's a lot of different motifs that you talk about, there's a lot of different themes. One of them that sticks out a lot is the relationship aspect. And for you in South Philly, you say relationship with some rocky, and I don't know why. Maybe because I said I let it go, and low key, that's a lie. What was it you felt that you needed to let go of?
When you a forgiving person, and I am a very forgiving person. I don't know if it's just a me thing, if it's a Libra thing. Um, it's a funny thing about forgiveness is you can't forget that forgiveness can't come with resentment. And a lot of times it's hard not to like to forgive, but not hold that little resentment or that little memory of what it was, or that little like, I forgive you, but it's like you don't forgive but don't forget. And when you forgive but don't forget, at the end of the day, it's gonna manifest in other ways. You know what I'm saying? I've seen that in friendships. I've seen that, in relationships. You may like have a relationship where you're forgiving someone for something, and you might love them to death, but like, once you cross a certain line, that shit's still gonna linger with you. You know what I mean? It's gonna sit with you, and you might not even notice yourself kind of projecting that shit in like other ways. You know what I'm saying? Like, or just being tight at the person some days, and it might come off as you being moody, but it's really because like, nah, like that shit still stuck with me, and like it's hard to shake it. You know what I'm saying? That shit can happen in relationships. That shit can happen in friendships. That's why like when it comes to toxic relationships, a lot of the toxic relationship is because you kind of just like fighting through some shit, or like loving somebody so much that you don't want to let it go, but you gotta understand that if you don't let something if you don't want to let something go, then you gotta let go all the other bullshit. You know what I mean? And if you don't, then that shit's not really gonna fly.
Because you hold on to that resentment, and you think that that resentment is just gonna magically someday go away. But we were just talking about it earlier, right? When you're hurt and you don't tend to the wound, it becomes infected. It heals improperly.
It's a bar.
And you expect these people to understand that, I'm hurt and you're the one that hurt me, so you need to fix it. But they in turn think that, well, it's not my responsibility to fix you. You need to fix what's broken inside of you. And like you said, you need to either let that go or let that person go.
You gotta let go one or the other. You know what I'm saying? 100%.
But how do you make that decision? How do you just say, well, I invested this much time into you? It's just like your passion, right? When you invest so much time into something, you can't let it go. Sometimes we can be in toxic relationships with our passion too.
But I think like we all know. We all know. Like if you can't shake it, if you still think about certain things, if you know that you feel a certain way when this person comes around, then that thing is still there. And if that thing is still there, it's your choice to like know that it's there, know that it's having an effect, and know that it's something you can maybe get around. You might be able to get around it, but it's still gonna pop up. Or you can make the hard decision to just like party separate ways, because that's probably in the long run gonna be the best thing for everybody. You know what I mean?
At what point did you realize it was time to let go?
I've gotten to a situation in certain relationships or friendships where the resentment was just too crazy. It was like I just knew I didn't like, I don't like when something don't sit right with you, like when you tense up when someone walks in the room, like you just like you feel that little like, you know what I mean? That's when like, all right, like this ain't for me. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like when it got to the point where I was feeling those feelings, whether it be in a relationship or a friendship, it's like I knew at that point that the best thing for everybody was to just go our separate ways.
And even sometimes in those situations, you don't even feel like yourself no more.
Yeah.
You start to feel a certain empty feeling that shit, maybe that empty feeling isn't even there when they're not around.
Nah, it's real shit.
But relationships are meant to be lessons sometimes, right? Not everybody can be in your life forever. Sometimes we hold on to people because we're scared of what life looks like without them. And once we let go, we realize, oh, that was the lesson I was supposed to learn. What do you feel like is the most important lesson you've taken away from past relationships?
I think the lesson on like knowing when to split. You know what I'm saying? Because like again, like once that with that resentment, like as much as we try to forgive, as much as we try to forgive and as much as we try to let go of things, like if you know that you truly haven't, it's gonna keep manifesting in other ways. It's gonna keep coming out, whether it be in an argument, whether it be in the way that you show like affection to the person, whatever it may be, it's going to come out. You know what I mean? Like once that shit builds up to a certain level, you know what I'm saying? I feel like you're gonna know it's that time. And also another thing with toxic relationships is like it's funny. I was reading this, or I was watching a podcast or something like that recently, and it was talking about passion and soulmates, right? And it's funny, it was saying something that really resonated with me, that like your soulmate isn't actually the person that like completely just sweeps you off your feet. Like you feel this crazy spark, this crazy energy, and you just feel so head and heels in love. And it can go that way. But soulmate is actually the person that you feel like the most like stable with, the most calm with, the most peace with. Like your soulmate is gonna bring you like complete peace. And I think like, you know, growing up, seeing a lot of toxic relationships around me and seeing a lot of passion and it's funny, even the word passion like is seen as this beautiful word, but passion is actually in a way a negative word. Passion is pain. Passion is like passion is where you get the whole pain is pleasure kind of idea. And you know, going back to the whole thing about your soulmate, you know, sometimes you may feel like, yo, it has to be this next level of passion. And even me, I think in my last relationship and just relationships in general, I had to realize that I was maybe addicted to passion. Like it's maybe that feeling of like that fire, that love, that spark, you know what I'm saying, I was addicted to, when it's more so like the peace and stability that I actually probably need in life. You know what I'm saying? At least when it comes to a relationship. And it's so funny. I remember the time where I started, you know, after coming out of some of those situations, I started dating a girl that brought me so much peace that I almost thought like something was wrong with her. I was like, damn, like I don't know, like she's like everything about her is just like perfect. Like, you know, like I feel like she beautiful. I feel like she fire. She had a cool personality, all that. So wise, and it's just like I had to sit back and realize like, oh, like because it's just not toxic, because it's not that level of passion, like all like going crazy. That's why you think that you're not really feeling something. Where it's like, nah, like the peace and the stability and just like that calm that she brings is actually everything that you need. You feel me? So it's just funny, yo. It's just funny. Love is a funny thing, yo. I'm still trying to figure that shit out, yo.
It's crazy how that comes around though, because I think that that's almost a universal experience, right? When you exit a relationship that was filled with all that passion, you find that person that just kind of evens you out for a little bit. And just like you said, it feels right, but it doesn't at the same time, because you want to be able to give more to that person, but at that time it's like it's not even in the cards for real. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What do you think it was that really pushed you to strive for that passion all the time, to look for that? You mentioned the growing up, you saw a lot of that in relationships that were modeled.
Just like you said, probably how I grew up, probably what I experienced. You know what I mean? I was Indian, so it's like I wasn't only in my household. Like I seen that in my friends' households. Like they all seen that. We all like grew up that way. You know what I'm saying? Like parents stick through it no matter what. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's the culture that we come from. So I think, you know, of course, like that was a model that I just had in my head of, all right, this is how it goes. You know what I'm saying? So I think that, you know, translated to my relationships, like, you know, later down the line in life. And I had to like really realize that and identify that and like really peel back the layers of that. You feel me? Like,
Do you think that that's still what you model love after at this point?
bad habits die hard for sure. So like to a certain extent, but I'm aware of it now. So you know what I mean? I can like identify certain things and see like, all right, this you should probably move this way or do that a little different. You know what I'm saying? But I'm aware of it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm able to maneuver it.
We're not going to talk about relationships this whole time, but maintaining those relationships while you're chasing your actual passion. So you mentioned, right, giving grace to yourself while you're chasing your dreams, because it's something that we allow ourselves to give each other. But when you involve another person who's supposed to support you and they don't, it starts to feel like, but you're supposed to be my person. You're supposed to be the one that's riding with me, not me by myself. And when that one person doesn't support you, it's like, oh, am I doing the right thing? Am I really ever gonna make it to where I wanna be? You even got a song for that too, right? Bittersweet. She said, how I'm supposed to feel when it's 10 a.m. on a Sunday, how we supposed to build when you hardly home for a month straight. Meet me halfway, you can barely meet me for a lunch date.
shit, let me call you back later. The service chop you on this runway. You know what I mean? Just like it's crazy. But yeah, that's real life. Honestly, that's what my life was for the past, creating that album.
That album's crazy, by the way, but go on.
Thank you. I agree. I definitely agree. You know what I'm saying? I did experience that. And it wasn't only with like, women, it was also just like, family and friends. But, it's a sacrifice, just being absent, being not physically present, and understanding that at the same time, like, the world doesn't only revolve around you and your dream. Like, just to be fair. You know what I'm saying? So like it is a balance of you making sure that, you do show up for the people that you care for and make things fair for them as well. You know what I'm saying? Which was a balance that I had to learn and I had to identify and I had to, step up to the plate. And sometimes, you have to go even harder. Sometimes you have to sacrifice even more to show up for both people, both things, entities equally. And sometimes one has to suffer for sure. But it's all part of the journey and just like figuring the shit out.
Do you feel like you ever found that balance, the right balance?
No, I don't think I ever necessarily found it 100%. I think, I try my best. All you can do is try your best. And I'm not necessarily trying to find no balance. I'm just trying to do my best, honestly.
I know the feeling, bro. So, the hard part is that once it goes silent, right? Because that silence and that loneliness is very loud. So once somebody decides to exit that relationship, and typically it's never you leaving your passion behind. It's typically the other person saying, "I've had enough of this."
Or you saying like, this is not gonna work. You know what I'm saying? Because I need to go this way.
That usually happens early on, though.
Yeah, early on. I've been very blessed, to be honest. I've been very blessed to like have some real ones. Like all my friends that support my music have probably been my friends since like 5th grade. And they still locked in and they never once doubted me. Any girl I've ever dated, shout out, to any girl I've ever dated, but, they've all been supportive. They was never on some like, they was always at the shows. They was always like, pushing me like, all right, you got to go here, go do this. Like, I have had those moments that I speak about in Bittersweet where it's like, I got to go to Atlanta for 3 months. So it's either we going to go our separate ways or we going to make it work. So, and in those situations, I'm glad to say we was able to, figure things out, but yeah.
What is it that makes you continue to pursue this, seeing the strain that is put on not only certain relationships romantically, but like you mentioned, right, your friends, your family?
I feel as though like things have, luckily, well, not luckily, I'm gonna say by the grace of God, have fallen into place. Like, and I'm a believer in like, even with me pursuing music, like, if you notice some of the few things I said in this interview, like, with my manager to this day, I didn't seek him. I didn't go looking for him. That just fell into place. With a situation where I met, Mustard and them, like, I was minding my business delivering food that day. You know what I mean? I got back to the crib, and he told me he wanted to log in with me. You know what I'm saying? Things like Genius, just made sense. Atlanta, the music I made out there, getting into different sessions. These things are just falling into place. And, so with that being said, I appreciate the fact that a lot of those relationships, those things work themselves out. Like we figure things out and I always figure out a way to like, be real, authentic, transparent, and just, open with the people I love and really rock with, and they do the same back with me. So, it's all come full circle, even with the music and, helping everything just fall into place on like a music side, family side, friendship side. You know what I'm saying? And, in terms of the distance, like, of course, like, I'll be, away from home. Like, I'll miss my people. But, I really have a vision. I have a goal. I have a dream. And I have a lot more that I feel like I can reach to and obtain. And I know that I'm in reach of it. So, I'm going to keep going one foot in front of the other.
Now, something that you've mentioned a lot throughout this interview so far is Atlanta. You took that leap. You went out there for 3 months. You worked with B.O.B. I'm sure there's a lot of other things that went on over there. How do you feel like that experience in Atlanta helped you grow as an artist?
One thing about Atlanta, especially coming from somewhere like New York, where everyone's so one man for himself, everyone's just on their own shit, no one's trying to help each other up, no one's trying to collaborate. One thing about going from a place like that to Atlanta is in Atlanta, it's a complete opposite. It's a complete opposite in the whole like mainstream industry. As we can see, all the Atlanta artists, they be linking up, clicking up all the time. And it's that way, like in the upcoming scene, in the songwriting scene, it's a lot of collaborative sessions. It's a lot of you meet one person, they're like, yo, you super dope. Like I'm gonna put you in here. Like, I met a lot of real ones in Atlanta. Like, I remember like when I linked up with Jace for the first time. I don't know if you know Jace, but he's super dope rapper, songwriter. You know what I mean? I knew about Jace back in the blog era, you feel me? From Jason 29 and shit like that. But like I put up on him. We was just working on some records, writing some records. He had some dope artists in there. He had Ryan Trey in there, and we was, writing some joints, and that was a good session. So just from showing up and, having good energy, good session, good work, and it's like, all right, bet, like, I'm gonna pull you into this session, and like, yo, come to this B.O.B. shit, and we gonna go here, you know what I mean? So it's just like, shit like that you would never experience in New York, but like being in those rooms gave me the opportunity to like continue to sharpen my pen. And another thing, man, yo, shout out to them boys, because Jason, a lot of incredible songwriters out in Atlanta. Like them boys, they turn them songs out. Like I'm talking about, they freestyle them songs in one take and pull up the next beat. And just being in those environments, you know what I mean? It's just like, all right, bet. Like when I hop on the mic, I'm not about to just like, we not playing no games. Like, you know what I mean? I gotta step up to the plate, gotta keep the workflow going. So I think being in those environments, collaborative sessions, camps, shit like that, really, grew like my pen game real fast. In a short period of time, and like, translated to my music and then all the other sessions I was going into before. Like I was already super locked in on songwriting for myself and others before that, because before that I was just, by myself in front of the mic, freestyling, not laying references after references by myself anyways. But being in that environment where it's like, okay, like we, like, it's 10 plus people in the room, like, let's go.
Why Atlanta in the first place?
It was just like a lot of shit going on out there made sense for what I want to do. And I had a lot of people out there that I really genuinely fuck with, like actual homies that I know, a lot of artists that I really fuck with and align with, and just a lot of people out there that I actually already knew and just wanted to link up with and work with. So that's why I was just out there for like 2 weeks. And I went there and I just was linking up with all these people I know, these are my homies and all that. And it's just like, damn, like, I actually really fuck with this shit. Like the energy just felt right. And again, like I said, like when things fall into place, I've learned from all the things that have happened in my life. When things fall into place, don't like try to fight against it. Like go with the current. You know what I'm saying? So once I saw shit was going well, I was like, all right, bet. Like 2 weeks, all right, maybe a month, all right, maybe 2 months, maybe 3 months, maybe 6 months, you know what I'm saying? So it turned into a lot more than I would have ever imagined. But, I would definitely say, man, I felt like Atlanta really welcomed me with open arms. A lot of people looked out for me out there, like a lot of collaborations, a lot of, good night outs and shit like that. So shout out to Atlanta, man. I got mad love for Atlanta, a lot of people out there.
What made it the right time to leave?
I wouldn't say it was no right time to leave type thing. I think it's just life. It was just a life thing. Like, certain things happen, move you into different situations. Actual people in my life that I really fuck with. Like, I really care about family members, friendships, certain things going on in different areas. And sometimes you got to move around a little bit. It wasn't like, oh, I'm trying to leave Atlanta and go here. It was just like life.
No, I only asked that because, like you said, right? Life has a way of putting you in positions where you need to be. You said 2 weeks. It could have been 3 months. It could have been 6 months. It could have been a year. So understanding, why that 3-month mark felt like the time, that's just what I was thinking. But I want to touch on that New York aspect a little bit.
Yeah.
That's the same shit people say about Chicago, right?
Yeah.
Chicago people, they don't want to work together. They don't want to, put other people on. How is that culture out in New York really shaped the way that you view artists and, the way that you want to work with them?
A lot of times, I would say I operate as a leader. So, like, I would want to lead by example. And I'm not the type of person that, like, when I see what's going on around me, I get jaded and, like, oh, these people are acting this way. Well, fuck it, I'm acting this way, too. Like, nah, like, you know what I'm saying? So I think just seeing, like, the environment in New York just makes me want to create more of the opposite, you know what I mean? And, like, even being in New York, like, I've had a couple sessions where, like, I'll invite, like, 10 people through, and we're, like, collaborating on shit. We're doing different shit. Like, we're doing, like, songwriting camps pretty much, and, like, now all those people are connected. Now they can all link up afterwards, and they don't got to involve me, nothing like that, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the type of shit I care about, you know what I'm saying? So if anything, it's made me want to create more of, like, what I feel like is lacking, what I feel like is lacking.
Do you feel like that's because you didn't have the opportunities from other people?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would say that. And in general, that's just me, though. That's just my body. This is how I move. I like bringing people together. I like collaboration. I like introducing people. I like connecting the dots if I can. Like, it's not always about, like, oh, I didn't have this. So, like, it was more so like, yo, this is what I want, what I would hope for. So, why not create it? And, my whole brand, my whole mission state is called Kingdom is Yours. It's like Kingdom is yours no matter where you start, even if you start from the mud. Like, you got to kind of envision yourself as king or queen of whatever realm you really want to conquer, but not just like see it. You gotta kind of, or just like dream about it. You gotta like, before you have that, you gotta walk with that. You gotta embody that. You gotta walk in the room with that, confidence and knowing that that's who you are. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, a lot of what my brand, my mission state, my music is all built on is just creating the exact experience that you want. You know what I'm saying? So again, like I think it goes all the way back to like why I would try to create that kind of environment and that kind of vibe.
Like shit, I mean that's something you talk about in a lot of your interviews. Kingdom is yours, as well as Rockland County.
Or
Is like the most important thing that everybody brings up, and it's the topic that I think almost all the interviews have been tailored around. If you know what I'm saying. Every time I watched an interview, Rockland County kept coming back up. What role do you feel like it played in shaping, who Ashoka is?
it's a place where you definitely got a choice. There's a lot of shit going on. It's like, it's the suburbs and, right outside the city. It's a lot of different pockets where it's like super calm. Like some pockets are like, super super hood, like what you might consider the projects or whatever it may be. And it's just with that being said, it's an environment where you got a choice. Like, and I would say that growing up, like I had friends from all different types of vibes. You know what I mean? Like I had, athlete friends, I had smart friends, I had gangbang friends, I had all types of shit, and I'm getting into all different shits with all my different friends. And I think just having that experience really molded me and shaped me to know exactly who I want to be, exactly what I want to do, and it builds character. You know what I mean? When you're around different environments and you have a choice and you start to discover like what choices you're gonna actually make. Like, growing up in that environment, like it's like, okay, I could go this way. I could fuck with these dudes, I could fuck with these, or I could, you know what I mean? Or I could like, and it's like as you get older, you start to realize and you start to make those choices and start to learn, like, okay, this is actually where I'm trying to go. You know what I mean? Some best friends that you maybe not best friends with no more because you're realizing, like, okay, like, you going that way, I'm going this way, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I say Rockland County shaped me in that way. I'm originally from Queens. I'm originally from Queens, Rosedale to be exact. You know what I'm saying? So coming from there, moving to Rockland County, and Rockland County is essentially made up of all people who moved from the city, like whether it be Queens, the Bronx, you know what I mean, Brooklyn. So, you know what I mean, a lot of the energy is synonymous and connected in a way. But yeah, I say that's how it shaped me.
Do you feel like it was hard to watch other people make certain decisions and move in a different lane in life?
You'll hear me say I'm big on like motivating, inspiration. Like sometimes, a lot of times, I'll see shit for people that they don't see for themselves. Like I've had a lot of situations where I've seen some shit for people that I'm like, damn, you don't even see that for yourself. And like I'm trying to push you towards this, but like you gotta want it for yourself. I can't force you to like want more for yourself. You know what I'm saying? So I say more so in those situations where I'm like, damn, like, bro, like you could really be that. You could really be this. You could really, and it's just like, you know what I'm saying? Those are the more disappointing situations.
I felt that way a lot, growing up with my friends. I was I was the smart one. I'll say that, right? I was the one that would always go to school, make sure I was on my shit. I didn't have any problems. And my friends early on, they fell into a pattern of, drinking, staying out late, smoking, like all the shit you shouldn't be doing at 15, 16 years old, right? To us back then, it was like, oh yeah, whatever, like life is life. But as you get older, you look back and you're like, damn, why the fuck was I doing that shit at 15, 16 years old? So for me, I think it was hard to understand that everybody has their own life and everybody's gonna make their own choices, and eventually, right, people will get right and they'll make the right decisions for themselves, but everybody has to live life the way that they choose. And for you, kingdom is yours is, I don't want to completely blow over that. It's your way of life. It's something that you've chosen, and it's a way that you've chosen to uplift others.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't think I've asked you this, but why is that so important to just, preach that message, right? No matter where you come from, you can be royalty.
It's so important to me because I needed that. I wouldn't be sitting here with you right now if I didn't like tell myself that. You know what I'm saying? Or like that whole thought process is how I got over the whole like, as an artist, being an artist in the beginning, like it could be a little scary, you know what I mean? Like I'm putting myself out to the world, like it's the most vulnerable shit you could do. People could clown you, people could say all types of shit, people could, you know what I mean, say whatever it may be. And I think once I had came up with that whole, like once that clicked in my mind that okay, this is the way you gotta view this, And once I realized how much that really had an impact on me, once I got married to that mentality. It's like, yo, like at the end of the day, I'm a person that always gonna want the best for my people. So if I feel like this really helped me and this really pushed me to chase my dreams and gave me this confidence and gave me this, belief in myself, sometimes even delusional belief in myself, which is needed, made me just want to push it to my people.
Growing up where you grew up, was there an idea that you could only be one thing? There was an idea that if this is where you started, this is where you'll end.
I wouldn't say it was the idea that you can only be one thing, but it was a comfort within the town to like just stay here and just like, and not I'm not gonna say to just stay here. Nothing's wrong with staying there, but I don't know. In general, I've always been a believer of you have to get out your comfort zone to grow, and you have to leave home to bring that trophy back home. You know what I'm saying? And I wouldn't say that it's a place where, you come from here, you can only be one thing, but it's a place where you can get complacent, you get comfortable, and not see a lot more than what the world has to offer in general and what the world has to offer for you and how much of your untapped potential you can reach by breaking out of just this, this hometown kind of mentality. And that's just the way I see it. And that's not to like shit on anyone who decides to like, just grow their life and their family there. That's beautiful as well. I wanted different things.
Shit, most creatives do, right? We all envision our lives being something bigger than what most people can imagine. And when you see that the normal lifestyle, right? Raising a family, getting married, all that, it's a little hard for you to imagine yourself in that position. What created that idea for you that you needed to leave, that you needed to get out in order to, be successful?
I don't think that was like necessarily just me, like in music. I think that was just me in general. That was just my vibe in general. Like my parents will always say that like, like my sister, like she enjoys like being close to the fam, being close to home. Like, she hosts a lot of shit together, you know what I mean, in terms of the fam. They always had this kind of joke that like we always knew like once you went to college, you wasn't coming back home. You know what I mean? That's just like who I am. Like they knew that like, yo, you are gonna like, venture off, you're gonna like, just they kind of just knew I was gonna break away just because I want to see more. I want to experience different things. I want to push myself. I want to see what comes from pushing myself. You know what I mean? Yeah, I think it's just my personality in general. You know what I'm saying? I always wanted to go out on my own too. I always wanted to see the world. I always wanted to see what was outside of just, my circumference.
Now for music, you've always been musically inclined, but you didn't realize it at the beginning. It was trumpet, right?
Yeah, it was trumpet.
Trumpet from what? 4th to 10th grade or something like that?
Yeah, how you know that?
I'll do the research, bro. Kayvon told me. No, Kayvon didn't tell me. I did the research. Why do you think it took you so long to realize that it was a real passion?
I think I just wasn't paying attention. Sometimes you really got to pay attention to what's going on around you in life. Like, it wasn't only until, like, it's funny. I learned this from, like, media training. Like, I was in a media training and she was trying to get me to, like, answer certain questions with more details. And then it was one question she asked about, like, my childhood. And then she was like, oh, okay. And then she was like, kept asking me, like, yo, tell me more. And I was just like, all right, fine. Like, yeah, I played the trumpet. I did, like, a little MySpace music rap shit back when I was, like, 12, 11. You know what I'm saying? My dad played the piano. He played all these records. She's like, oh, so music's been a part of your life, your whole entire life. And I was like, I guess. Like, and then, like, after I sat with it, I was like, oh, shit, wait, like, nah, this has been, like, damn near, if not the main thing in my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, because looking back, it's like, you know what I'm saying? I kind of go through it. I would say it started off with just, like, the whole trumpet shit. Like, that's when I first started, like, I had to pick up something on my own and, like, start playing this shit, start seeing what's up with it. And then from there, I would say when I first fell in love with hip hop, it was 50 Cent, Get Rich or Die Trying. Just like, but the thing that made it a little different for me is I don't even know why I was doing this. But I was just a little kid and I was rewriting his raps in my notebook and like rapping it as if it was my own. And I don't know why I was doing it, but I was just doing it. You know what I mean? Kind of performing it in the mirror, just like that. Like, I may have some older cousins that back in the LimeWire download shit days, and they came to my crib, put all that shit on my computer. So now I'm like 11 years old or younger, just downloading mad shit. Starting to get like I'm pretty much making mixtapes, like what I'm saying, at my young age, listening to mixtapes, like giving it to my sister, her friends, whatever. Then from there, getting a little older, middle school. MySpace is out, MySpace music. I'm like, all right, like, I had some homies that we started just rapping and, we started putting out some songs on MySpace music, but like I never even, thought it could be nothing. So I wasn't looking at it as anything, even though they were saying like, yo, you nice. Like you probably like the nicest in the group. They would always tell me that. But like, it was just like I was a kid. So I wasn't really thinking too much of it. But like what mattered was the fact that I was doing it. You know what I'm saying? Getting a little older, I kept playing the trumpet. I played the trumpet up until high school, and I played like trumpet, and I was nice. Like I was like playing in front of judges at some time. Then I got to high school, and it's like, okay, do I want to play trumpet or do I want to, get fly and get girls? You know what I'm saying? Then granted, like, what I'm saying, that was just me being immature and insecure as a young, high school kid. Like I should have kept playing that shit. Like fuck y'all, I'm lit. And I'm gonna take your bitch while I'm playing the trumpet. But I wasn't, I was still a little, I was younger. So with that being said, then I'm in high school now. And now it's blog era and I'm downloading music every day. And I'm the one, I'm that kid that's like putting my boy on to like, yo, this is a new artist called J. Cole. Like, I'm telling you, like, yo, this new dude called Drake, Big Sean. Like, I remember being that kid, you know what I mean? So like once I kind of grew up until the point where like now I'm 19, 20, and now I have more of an actual story because I've been through real life. I've been through things. I've been through some real things, you know what I'm saying? So now I actually have a lot to talk about. And I'm starting to write. And it's like all this musical kind of history that's been in me, whether it be all the things I dabbled in or the fact that, my dad has all these vinyl records he's playing and playing the piano in the crib, just chilling. And all these things are kind of coming full circle to where I'm starting to write and starting to realize like, wait, like I don't only have a story. Now I have a story and I have a musical ability. And I started to realize like, oh shit, this is exactly where my passion lies. Once I realized I'm doing this every day. And I remember my first time playing a voice memo for one of my boys. He was just like, yo, what the fuck? Like, this is you? He's like, yo, this is actually like pretty good, you know what I'm saying? And since that was when it all really clicked, like, okay, bet, let me keep fucking with this and see where it goes. And here we are.
What do you feel like's been the toughest experience that you've had to talk about through your music?
Well, honestly, the toughest experience, I haven't talked about it in music that's been out. It's something I'm probably gonna touch on my next album. So I'm gonna leave it for that. But I would say a pretty hard experience was like, my experience with police brutality, you know what I mean? Being like pretty much profiled, wrongly arrested, like antagonized, all that type of shit, you know what I mean, dealing with police. And it's probably so hard for me to even talk about it that I said it and I really spoke on it in like a Jersey Club type drill beat, like on some like I said it in a witty way where it's like, now I'm telling you what really happened, but it's still in a way kind of playful because it's like in a witty bar and shit like that. But like, yeah, that type of shit is never easy to talk about, and it's never ever easy thing to experience. I know a lot of me, my brothers, my sisters out here have experienced that shit, and hopefully, I pray that there's a way that it ends, and there's a way that we're looked at as people, human beings. You know what I mean? Not to be treated like any less than that. But I would say that was probably one of the harder topics to speak on.
How did that experience really affect the way that you started to move?
I mean, it didn't really change anything about the way I started to move because when it happened, I wasn't really doing nothing wrong. It just more so made me realize like, nah, this shit is real. It don't matter if you were innocent, if you haven't done nothing wrong. Like, yo, like you see them stories on the news about homie didn't have nothing on him. He was reaching to take his seatbelt off and they blew his head off. You know what I'm saying? But I think being in the situation and being the one in those shoes made it really real. And it's like, whoa, like, nah, this is real life. You know what I'm saying? So I think that just kind of, that kind of stuck in my head. And yeah, it's an unfortunate reality, but something I had to face.
Do you feel like it created a stronger sense of paranoia whenever there was, police around?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I've always had that sense of paranoia just because, that's how we was raised. Don't throw the police. You know what I mean? When it comes to the homies, it's like, obviously, you know what I mean? Since we was 11, 12, like we was getting called a snitch and shit like that and getting clowned, you know what I mean? So that's kind of always been ingrained in me. But like, I think that, that situation, I would say, PTSD is a real thing.
Do you feel like that's what contributed to like what you talk about in questions, right? Anxiety, my best friend, depression, my distant cousin.
I think that's just, life, just real life. It's stemmed from that, and just, I'm like, yo, I've been through real shit. You know what I mean? That's another reason why I'm an artist, and I have a story to tell. Like, I've been through those situations. That's just one thing that contributes to that line. Like, anxiety's my best friend, depression my distant cousin. That I don't see too often, but when I do, swear it's just like nothing changed. You know what I'm saying? So I would say, it's contributed, but it's just life issue. You know what I mean? So that's why, like, I like to make sure I talk about these things in the music, on these albums, and on these freestyles, just because I know that a lot of people have experienced a lot of things I've experienced as well. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people can resonate and like feel heard and feel seen with me telling my story.
And shit, that's what music's for, right? To be able to tell your story and hopefully somebody relates to it.
Yeah.
Put your words out there and maybe somebody feels a little bit more comforted. What do you feel like was the other strong factor that contributed to that anxiety?
I think maybe also the pressure, like, of being an artist, and it's just like the output and the hustle mentality, and the output mentality of just like me feeling like if I'm chilling on a Wednesday night, like I'm the fucking worst person in the world. Like, yo, you don't want this shit. Like, it's just that voice in your head. You don't want it that bad. Someone else is doing this right now. Someone else is doing that right now. And it's like that shit could be real anxiety inducing too. But that goes back to like why I did the whole 100 days and transformed and like got in the gym and like started reading different like that. Cause it's like, yo, you're not gonna be no good to nobody if you ain't all the way there. And if you're not taking care of yourself, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I would say just that whole artist mentality of like gotta do more, not doing enough. If you sleeping, then that means you're doing something wrong. You know what I mean? Even though sleep is essentially the most important thing that we need, you know what I mean, to function. Different shit like that. But I definitely, been doing a lot better with it, at least trying, you know what I'm saying, to like take those moments where like, yo, bro, if you need to chill tonight, like, and just relax and watch something and go to sleep, like it's okay, bro. You human. You can do that. You know what I'm saying?
There's that pressure to succeed. There's that pressure to be the best at what you do. And you feel like people are watching you, but in reality, you're what matters the most. So if you're not okay, how are you going to be putting out a product that other people are going to be happy with? It's like Bryson Tiller. I don't know if you follow Bryson Tiller like that, but Bryson Tiller, he talks about his second album. People were hating on it and they're like, man, why did this album flop for real? He's like, because I was depressed when I made the album. Like, I didn't even really like the music for real.
That's a good point.
With that being said, with that pressure being on you, that anxiety to be this artist that, is consistently putting out, how important is it to you to maintain your mental health, and in what ways do you do that to make sure that you're okay at the end of the day?
The biggest thing that I've been trying to do lately is trying to like that I've been really bad at is trying to give myself like a little grace. Like I've been like I'm always super hard on myself, always like a lot of pressure, high pressure situations, and I do that to myself sometimes intentionally because I feel like like a lot of people do feel sometimes I perform better under pressure, but it's important to take a step back and not always reward yourself, but acknowledge that you have put in a lot of work, acknowledge the accomplishments, acknowledge, you know what I mean, when you do get something great done, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes we skip over a lot of that to just like, nah, I gotta keep going, or like sometimes we be close to burnout and we just like, there's no option but to keep going. But again, like what good are you to anybody if you burn out, you know what I'm saying? So I had to really tighten up and realize that like, yo, like you gotta take care of yourself in order to be the best version of yourself, you know what I mean? As a person and as an artist, you know what I'm saying? Like I damn near, my last album, I ran myself to the ground trying to finish that shit. I'm like recording every day. I'm still working the job. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? I'm traveling for shows. I'm not eating right. I'm not sleeping. And I feel like, the album I feel like the album came out exactly how I wanted it. And I'm super happy with the product. But I'm not happy with how I felt. You know what I mean? And this is crazy to even say. Like I remember like during the album release party, which was my first like real headlining, like this is just me. Like I'm gonna headline this show at a dope venue in New York. And you know what I mean? We sold a bunch of tickets. We had mad people come out. I had openers. We had merch. We had DJs, like a day party too. And it was like an incredible vibe. And I remember saying like, damn, like, I remember it was like a Friday and I was on a Sunday. And I remember just saying like, damn, I can't wait till this shit's all over. And it's just like, damn, like I had to really pause and realize, damn, that's fucked up. Like this is like one of the biggest, most proud moments of my life. And I'm trying to rush through it. And I'm saying I can't wait for it to be over. But it's like, yo, sometimes like you could really drop, and that just goes to say like, yo, if you don't take care of your mental health, like what good are you to anybody? Because like I shouldn't be thinking that way on my album release. I shouldn't be thinking that way on my album release party. I should be in the moment, you know what I mean, enjoying that. And if I was taking those right steps to take care of myself and my mental health and throughout the process of the album and like, you know, getting to sleep, like, you know, taking a day off here and there to sleep or like saying no to this session or like, you know what I mean? Like trying to say, okay, like I need to go to the gym today to like get my mind right. So I can't do this on this day. You know what I'm saying? Different shit like that. Just starting to like make boundaries. Maybe I would have been in a better headspace, you know what I mean, on my album release. And you know what I mean? I've been working on it for sure. That's something I've been working on for myself and, you know, I've been trying to like, you know, talk to different people about as well. But I definitely feel like by the time my next album rolls around, I would like have figured out a better, you know, game plan and method to like, you know, put it all together while taking care of myself because all that shit is important.
I'm excited to see what you got next. And I really do hope that I not even hope, I know you're going to have it figured out by then because shit, you're on this fitness journey, bro.
Hell yeah.
You got your mental right now, which is the most important, taking care of that. You're taking care of yourself physically. Shit, if you haven't seen the 30-day post, go check out that 30-day post.
Up, man.
That 30-day post.
Next album,
crazy.
I'm singing in the rain, wife beater, all that type shit.
I just know that, you know, you're going to be in a lot better place than you were at that time. And I think as artists, it's very easy to burn ourselves out because we run ourselves into the ground. And shit, before you got here, bro, I was stressing. I was sitting in the room and I'm just thinking, I'm like, man, I just want to go home for you know, and that's just because sometimes we put these expectations on ourselves and we want things to be a certain way. And when they're not going the way that we plan, it gets stressful and we just want it to be over. Just like you said, right? Maybe not everything you wanted went the way it needed to or you wanted to that day. So it was like, damn, I just can't wait for this to be done.
No, for sure.
You got anything to plug, bro?
Dreamers Valley, man. I'm so proud of that album. I'm so happy. I'm like really a fan of music, and like I said, like I grew up on the blogs and like listening to mixtapes, and like I feel like I took a lot of that, a lot of what I learned from my favorite artists, and put it into my first album. And like I'm so happy with how it came out. And you know, I would definitely, you know, recommend to go check it out. To anybody, you know what I'm saying? I feel like a lot of people can resonate with a lot of the stories, a lot of the themes. It actually is a theme album, you know what I'm saying? It is a story of what it's like to chase a dream, and it's funny, it's an album that's the story of making the album at the same time. You know what I mean? It's kind of some Inception type shit. But yeah, man, Dreamers Valley out right now. That Martin off the album, that's like one of my favorite songs. A lot of the fans, that's their favorite too. That's going crazy. And we do have a music video that's dropping for that very soon, like 2 weeks from when we're recording this. But I'm gonna pull up the video for y'all once we you know what I mean, wrap this up.
What do you think was the hardest lesson you had to learn about yourself throughout the creation of this project?
It's not cool to burn out. You know what I mean? Like, I get there's a cool connotation like, yeah, I don't sleep, like I grind, like, you know what I mean? I don't like studio till 4 a.m. every night, up at 9 a.m. Like, yo, bro, like, I feel like that was me throughout the album for sure. Throughout making this album, and because I'm traveling, I'm going to I'm in LA, I'm in New York, I'm back, you know what I mean? I'm not sleeping, I'm recording, I'm working on songwriting other people's shit outside of my album at the time. And you know, the burnout, it's not cool. That's not wavy. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's important to just, you know, lock in, but take care of yourself, you know what I'm saying? Be mindful. And also, like, yo, when you burn out, like, that affects the people around you. Like, you know what I mean? Your energy might come off a little different sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Just because you're not all the way right with yourself, you know what I'm saying? So I think that was the biggest lesson I learned.
Make sure you guys go ahead, check out Ashoka. Make sure you guys go ahead, like, comment, and subscribe. Sad Boys for real. Peace out.
This is Sad Boy Radio.